is the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast, bringing you this week's Tour Championship. The 2026 regular season is bout in the books. Congratulations to Wyndham Clark last week on winning the BMW Championship, and congratulations to Sebastian Mayo, who was the first commenter in the YouTube comments to let us know who was going to win last week. So you get a free month in the Model Maniac Patreon. You can use it whenever you want. You don't have to use it in the next month. We'll make that work for you over there. As always, the show is brought to you by DraftKings. Use code FGD when signing up as a first-time depositor. We'd really appreciate your support in that department. Help us help you there. Hit the like, hit the subscribe while you're doing all of that stuff. As always, I'm brought to you alongside the king of the couch, Kenny Kim. What's cooking, Kenny?
What is up, man? Of course, I don't know if you said it, but the show is sponsored by DraftKings, so got to get our people out there. You did. I was not paying attention at all to you, which tends to happen sometimes when I'm on the show, especially when we do the show this quickly after I get off work. I literally got off like an hour ago. But we're still here. Good win by Wyndham. Good win by both of us. I think this is the second time that both of us picked the winner. We both had Wyndham Clark last week, which was a good thing.
I hit too.
Oh,
I hit it from you guys, yeah.
Mighty Mike, the producer, hits as well. Now, I'm really happy that he hit because the rest of my guys, not great. It's amazing how in these limited field events, I mean, if you have the winner, I mean, like the other three bets I made, I don't think finished inside the top 25. Did not have a single guy inside the top 25 that on my betting card of four people except Wyndham Clark.
Well, it takes
Cash game cornerstones. Cash lineup won again. 20 and 32, 20 and 12 for the year. 63% win percentage, solid. But none of my cash game cornerstones finished inside the top 25. Now, if you listened to the show last week and picked and played my lineup, the other two guys were Wyndham Clark and Sung Jae In. Right? And so those are really the only two guys that were good this week. Everyone else is like 26, 28, stuff like that. And then, of course, Norin 6 over on Sunday to be like 40th or something like that. Cash lineup still a winner. If you guys used it last week, you still won. Overall, not the best week. Like when you look at it in the whole grand scheme of things, like cash game cornerstones weren't good. 3 out of my 4 bets were fucking awful. But in this golf business of betting, all it takes is one.
It's not how you drive; it's how you arrive. You know,
all it takes is one. And we got that one correct. So did like 87 billion other people in our community. So what a huge win for Wyndham Clark and for all the people that bet him last week. Congratulations.
He was in one and done. I've been in the one and done money pretty much this entire season, and I used Xander Schauffele because he was 10% owned in the field, and I was sitting doubling my money, $250 to make 500, and I saw Wyndham Clark had like 43% availability still. So I was like, I've bet him outright. Let me just go the other way with Xander as the leverage option. Xander makes a 7, chips his ball in the water. Wyndham Clark runs away with it, makes 3.6. I fall out the money, and I did not cash in one and done this year. So I landed up
don't feel
losing,
bad. I did not cash in either one of my one and done either.
But I was so close.
I think even in the Slider Cup, if I pick 1 and 2 this week, I don't even think I'll move up enough to cash.
But 10% of the contest had Wyndham Clark of the Mayo Cup. $3.6 million is going to have that just flying by you. So congrats to all of those that cashed in the Mayo. Chad Candles, unfortunately, couldn't bring it home for us there. Congrats to Brent. 4'6" putt or something like that as the username. So congratulations to you out there, my friend. 110K to you just for a little one and done action. So that was impressive there. So good stuff in that department.
So let's actually talk about the event itself. I think everything that we said beforehand, about the course going to play tougher each day. I think that happened. By Sunday, that course was playing very, very difficult. I think there was only one guy who shot better than 68 inside the top 15 on Sunday. And what we saw on Sunday was some wild shit because, of course, Wyndham did not have his game, at least for the first 15 holes. He went, 3 bogeys, no birdies for the first 15 holes. But every time somebody got there or got close, they couldn't take advantage. At first, it was Gary Woodland. I think Gary tied him at the end of the back 9, 14 under. He went out there on either 10 or 11 and straight topped the drive 100 yards into the fuck.
I think he did it on 9.
Maybe it was 9. Straight
One of
top,
us. One of us.
Straight top the drive into the water and double bogey. I mean, like, that was crazy. Like, you don't see that. We see people choke, but not to that extent. And he was basically out of it after that. Then you
Patrick
had
Cantley drenched a wedge in the water. He was the only golfer to hit his ball in the water short on that hole. All the bad shots these guys hit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was tied when that happened. And then, he'd make his bogey and then birdie the next hole. And then he'd bogey again. And then birdie again. But then he'd bogey again. And then he'd birdie again. He couldn't string good holes together back to back. And that was needed to really put the pressure on. Because, honestly, like, no one really was tied with him until Rory tied him, probably on the 11th or 12th hole. So 7 holes left. He's playing with the guy he's tied with. And the issue with what Rory did was he left himself 12 to 20 footers, basically on every 12, on 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Basically, he left himself that much for birdie to take the outright lead. And he could not hit any of them. You had Goddard out there who on 17, with a birdie and maybe a birdie finish, he's right there, or an eagle. You can eagle 17, and Wyndham did it on Saturday. He hit it into the bunker, and then for some reason on his layup, he hits it into the fucking creek. Like, it was like
again,
nobody
for the second time that week.
Yeah, like nobody wanted to get the win, and it's strange because like you don't think Wyndham is like that type of guy where you see him on top of the leaderboard and you fold like a Scheffler or like a Tiger or like a Rory. You don't think of that, but look at this. In Wyndham's 6 wins, these are the guys that came in second. So 2023 Wells Fargo was Xander Schauffele, right? 2023 U.S. Open was Rory McIlroy. 2024 AT&T Pebble Beach, Ludwig Oberg. 2026 CJ Cup, his one not big event that he won, right? Siwoo Kim was second, who's probably having one of the best seasons of his career and one of the best seasons on tour outside of not having a win this season, right? 2026 U.S. Open, Sam Burns. 2026 BMW, Patrick Cantlay, but also Rory a stroke back. Like, the thing about Wyndham is this shit, he's a killer.
Yeah.
Even though he played like shit for the first 15 holes. Like, do you remember somebody who played like ass for that long, lost the lead of a tournament that he was winning by a lot, and came back and won? And not only won, but won by fucking 3.
Yeah.
Like, this guy does not give in. Yes, he did not play the way we expected him to play the first 15 holes, but he more than made up for it on 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah, he's been very impressive under the gun, and it's weird because he can go from playing such bad golf to playing such incredible competitive golf in the blink of an eye. He was 180 to 1, Kenny, to win the PGA Championship. He was 200 to 1 to win the Masters this year. And now he's won 3 times. Like, that's how quickly his season has turned around. 170 to 1 to win the Players. But I want to point out, I ran the numbers here on 4+ stroke leads entering a Sunday, the last 20 times it occurred. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys dating back to Bobby Mack at the 2025 BMW Championship, the last 6 of them have all gained less than 1.1 strokes on that Sunday. So it's like really difficult to go out there with a 4-stroke lead and gain strokes in abundance. We're looking at Scotty Scheffler over there gaining 4.5 strokes on Sunday with a massive lead over there.
I think at even par from Wyndham, he probably gained strokes, I would think, by the end of the day. Right?
Yeah, but from like a showdown perspective, whenever someone has that big of a lead, I'm always out on them because they try to win the tournament and then they can land up coast. And then he made those 3 birdies in a row at the end, which kind of screwed the whole pooch. But, like at one point it was looking pretty good. But it's so difficult. It's so difficult to do that. And we don't have a lot of guys that are savage killers like that in tough conditions.
Fourth time he's had the lead going in. The fifth time he's had the lead going into the final round. 4 straight wins for Wyndham.
Yeah. And he had that stretch at Bay Hill and then the Players where he finished second to Scotty twice, where he was actually really going at it, and he just couldn't bring it home versus Scheffler. So I think then RBC Heritage, he finished second again. I can't remember, but he's had some close calls as well with Scotty Scheffler screwing him over the finish line there too. So incredible stuff.
He's got to be Player of the Year, right? I don't think there's a question now.
No, it's Player of the Year. It's Player of the Year. Like he did nothing for like the first 4 months.
But he's the only golfer with multiple wins in a major.
Okay, and what else? I think Jamie Kennedy put it out there.
He has the most wins on tour.
Yeah, but Scotty Scheffler's got like 9 top 3s or something. Like,
here's the thing: Scotty deserves it. There's no fucking doubt about that. But this is like a LeBron in his prime situation. This is a Kobe in his prime situation. We know who the best golfer in the world on the planet is. There's no fucking doubt that everybody knows this, right? But you give the Player of the Year to the guy because Scotty did not do what he has normally done in previous years. I think it's a lot harder to give it to him because he is being graded on another level compared to everyone else. And I think that's a legit argument. I think because, he is expected to be at that level. It's not like it's shocking. It's not like it's out of the blue. That's where everyone expects him to be. And to only have those 2 wins and no majors, right? I mean, Wyndham has 3 victories and a major. He's the only person on tour with multiple victories this year and including a major. I think that has to give him the Player of the Year.
I don't agree. He has the chart that he put out there. I mean, when you're finishing inside the top 25, 18 of your 19 starts, like this is an absurd year. I mean, if you take a look at Wyndham Clark stuff,
that is expected from Scotty. It's not fair. Right. It's not fair.
Wyndham Clark has got 4 top 3s. 3 of them are wins. So, and what I want to phrase it this way to you. If Wyndham Clark won these 3 tournaments in January, February, March, and then played like he did the first couple months of the year, we have got so much less recency bias about what he's got up to. Like, it's Player of the Year, not Player of the last couple months. Like he did diddly dick for the longest period of time to begin the year. So I think the overall product Scotty Scheffler's put out there, 3 major top 10s, 3 major top 10s. Wyndham Clark only had the 1, and it was the win. He missed the cut the following week at the Open, like did nothing, man. So you really glomming onto the 3 wins there.
You grade people of Scotty's ilk in a different light. That's just the way it is. That's reality. Every year when LeBron was in his prime and didn't win the MVP, right? Even though everyone knew he was the best goddamn player out there, it's because maybe he just was at the same level he was before, which was the best, but it wasn't quite as good as the year before or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Which is exactly what Scotty is. He is by far the best. There's no fucking doubt. The most consistent, the most top 5s, the most money. There's no doubt in my mind that he is the best player on the PGA Tour this season. There's no doubt. But I don't think the Player of the Year is judged by that. Especially for him. because,
fair.
like I said,
so are you trying to bet on this, or like what are you trying to say here? Like, because you're saying that he is the player of the year, but he's not going to be the player of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I think Scotty is the best player of the year, but he's not going to win player of the year.
Okay, we'll see. Rory said that Scotty was player of the year before the week even began last week. So, but also Rory, whatever Rory says next week could be very different. So,
could be very different.
But
no doubt.
You know, also shout out to Rory down the stretch. You know, when you got to make a birdie on a par 5 to put the clamps on the guy you're playing with, bunker off the tee, bunker off. I think he had 3 bunkers in a row. He went from bunker to bunker. Terrible
was horrible. That was
terrible
his choke
golf.
job.
Yeah,
here's the thing about Rory that scares me, and that's why he's on my betting card this week. It's because he was like, yeah, I'm not too disappointed because I didn't play. My game isn't where it should be, where I could be disappointed about losing a tournament. He went out there, and we said this last week. I wish I had the balls to do it, but we talked about this extensively in the DFS portion of our show last week, that Rory is the person to be played because we talk about these type of events where leverage is so important, especially amongst the elite of the elite. And Rory was 10% owned in most GPPs. The lowest owned, I think, of every guy in the 9K range and above is what we call. And we said from a game theory perspective, he is the man to play. And of course, I don't have the balls to do that. But maybe that's probably why it was so weak this year in GPPs. And let's move on to another topic. What I want to talk about are my results for this year. And here's the thing when it comes to results for content creators, right? Guys like me, guys like Byron, Pat, all those guys. There's different types of guys when it comes to content providers. There's guys like Byron. There's guys like Spencer. There's guys like Pat. There's guys like Andy Lack who provide a community to exchange thoughts, who provide tools to help you in your process, like Byron does, right? Who provide sharp minds all in one place in a Discord or something to help you. I mean, people like that, for me, and I think it should be for you guys listening, results don't matter for those guys. I don't care whether those guys win or lose because they are bringing something to the table that is tangible, that we can use to help ourselves, okay? Guys like me who are not as prevalent nowadays, right? Who just talk shit and make picks, right? Guys who just talk shit and make picks like I do. I think people like me need to show that we can win, right? Because winning every year in golf is very difficult, okay? But you have to show that it's been done and that you can do it, right? And I'm not saying like once in 10 years, right? I'm saying around 50% of the time, right? And I think to be taken seriously, to have people actually come and listen to you and take your word and actually put a pen to paper and use your word for whatever bets, whatever DFS you're doing, okay? And that's why I want to go over my results for this year, just to show you guys that, occasionally I might know what I'm talking about, right? So this year, from a betting perspective, let's go to it. So I've had 5 outright winners this year. So this is that is for betting for DraftKings right there that you see on the screen. I bet $1,260. I won $3,400. So it's about a $2,000 win. If you can go to the next picture, Mike, and show my Bet365 results, I'm about even because I bet about $1,500 in football, about $1,000 in football, and I think I lost $250. So I broke even on Bet365. So overall, I'm up $2,000. So I bet around $17,000 I've gotten back $19,000 on basically all of my recordable picks. There was one, even the made cut pick parlay that I had at the Masters that won like $600, $700, $800. Maybe it was more than that. That was shown on my X feed. So all of these bets that I've made this year, you could have tailed, okay? And so I've had 5 winners. Pre-tournament outrights, I've had 5 winners. The players, Cam, 35-1. Valspar, Fitz, 25-1. Houston, Woodland, 60-1. U.S. Open, Wyndham Clark, 80-1. That was a future. BMW, Wyndham Clark, 28-1. Okay? I also, if you followed me last week, I had the live ad winner at the St. Jude. Siwoo without Scotty, 24-1. I've also had a first-round leader at the Memorial. That was on my X feed. Wyndham Clark, 43-1. And I've also had 29 each-way hits in 32 events. So that is what I have gone over. That has been my record so far. Last year, I think I bet $15,000, and I got back $14,200. So a loss, but not much. The year before, I think I bet $13,000, and I got back $16,000. Ever since the each-way betting has happened, and I have been able to do it, I have been a winning bettor. And so it's been 3 years, 3 seasons of this. And even prior to that, I've been betting 8 years. I've had 4 winning seasons in the 8-year process. So that has been my record. And I'm not saying this just to say that, because it's not like I won a shit ton of money, right? I think I just want you guys to know that guys like me, and this is for all of you taking content in, guys who just talk shit and make picks, they got to win sometimes. They got to win sometimes for you to be able to take them seriously. Now, guys like Byron, guys like Pat, guys like Spencer, guys like Andy Lack, who bring something more to the community other than just bullshit and picks. It doesn't matter what they're bringing in and what they're losing, because you're gaining so much knowledge from their knowledge. Okay, but guys like me, and there's a few of them out there, make sure that they at least win sometimes. That's all I say.
Yeah, no, and you know what, Kenny? Even if you lose, I don't care, because as long as you are honest with me and transparent about the situation, and you're not telling me that you won and you actually didn't, like you nut up and you say, oh, had a bad year. It happens, like that's what makes good years. That's what makes, I'm a Jets fan, and I'm not going to change. When that freaking first playoff game happens, I'm going to cry, and whether we win or lose, I've been with the team throughout the journey. And, I think the point I'm trying to make here is so long as you're just transparent, everyone's going to tail along, because they love the process, and your process is so solid. You have every single week, you have a write-up or a read-up or, reasoning, solid performance, why you're going with that golfer. And I wanted to also ask you a bit more about your each way side of things, because you bet with 8 places. So you often get worse returns on the outright number itself, right? Because I had a Wyndham Clark 35, you had a 28, but you had 8 places on that 28 because you only have, you limited in Virginia over there with the sports books that you can play at. So talk to me a little bit about the 8 places versus the 5 places and how you've experimented with your each ways, because sometimes you try and make the number better by going the 3 places each way. It's an interesting concept. So just tell the people your philosophy there.
There's really no system in it. It's mostly 8 places. Because here's the thing, 8 places is comparable to when it comes to just top 10s with ties or something, which would be a comparable to an 8 place each way. The 10 place with ties is a much worse number than the each way with 8 places. It's 5. So say you got Wyndham Clark 35-1 with 8 places. You're getting 1/5 of that for the placement market. So you're getting 7-1. for a top 8. There's no way a top 10 with ties for Wyndham Clark was going to be okay. Let's even say my 28 to 1. Yeah, even my 28 to 1 is what? 5.6 for a top 8. You're not getting plus 560 for a Wyndham Clark fucking top 10 with ties. You're not getting that. You're just not even if you dead heat rules. Even with dead heat rules, you're still not getting that number. Now, top 5's a little bit closer. Top 5's are probably a little bit better. But I just like the 8 places because you get that little extra at the end. And 29 out of 32 out of 30. I've had 29 each ways this year in 32 events. And I was a little bit off when I went over my each way count. I added 5 more than I had by accident. So right now I have 99 each ways in the last since February of 2024. I think if I went by what I talked about maybe 3-4 weeks ago, it would have been 104. I was off by 5. I just miscalculated in my head. So I have 99 each ways. And that's what's helping me in here. Now, if you don't have the each way market, then maybe throw in top 5s, right? For all your outright bets. Because what it does is it keeps you afloat longer. Like, here's the thing. Like, my strategy when it comes to DFS and betting is I can't go 10 weeks losing. Like, I'm betting almost $1,000 a week in both, right? Basically, actually more than 1,000 based upon the average. There's been 32 events. I've bet $33,000 this year in DFS and betting. So I'm betting more than $1,000 a week total on average. If I have like a 10, 12 week, losing streak, that's 12 fucking grand. I can't lose 12 fucking grand in 3 months. I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah.
So that's why people ask, like, why don't you just put all the money from each ways in outright? You probably make more at the end of the year. You're probably right. But like the way my season has gone, I won 3 in a row. Players, Valspar, Houston didn't win it again until the U.S. Open. It had to have been at least 14 weeks, right? Had to have been at least 14 weeks. And then I didn't win again after the U.S. Open until last week, right? And that had to have been what? Another 10 weeks, probably, right? Or maybe, around 8 weeks, right? And so I can't be depositing $12,000 into the fucking account in that time. It's just not going to work. So the way I keep myself afloat so I don't have to deposit every fucking week is the each ways and is the cash games. Okay? That's why I play those. Because then I can afford, because honestly, like DFS wise this year, I've put in $16,000. I've gotten back $20,000. Okay. I've put in, I think, 7,000. I played in cash. 9,000. I played in GPPs. All right. I won, I think, 9,000, or maybe 8,000 in cash with the 63% win percentage. Right. So I won $1,000, maybe I think around $1,500 overall in cash. I think it's 8,500 is what I won from the 7,000 that I put in just cash. Now in GPPs, I put in 9,500. I've gotten back 12,000, but I won $7,500 at the Truist, coming in second in the $55, and I won $2,000 at the Genesis, coming in 6th in the $100 single entry. Like the rest of the time, I only won $2,500.
Yeah,
like in the other 30 events, right? And so, like,
this is why I ask.
It was not a good GPP year for me. I only had 2 top 10s in GPPs. Now, granted, I won $9,500 in those. You should be
DFS Player of the Year, Kenny. You had 2 really good performances.
There you go, right? But
bankroll management.
I need cash.
Bankroll management.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that it takes, especially in DFS and just outright betting in general, you can go through phases where you just don't cash shit. And then if you don't have enough money to sustain that losing period of time, which
you're not gonna be able to be there.
You
when
can't
you're
capitalize.
on your winning streak. Yeah,
you can't capitalize. So making sure that you can, before you start a betting season, you need to almost pretend that you can lose every single bet that year, or at least half of the, like a good chunk.
I
Kenny's
can't
strategy,
lose $33,000 in a year. I cannot do that.
No. But if you did a season where you didn't hit a single each way with 8 places, or at least one every couple tournaments, that's absurd. That would be running very, very bad. So one thing I want to mention is keeping track of your shit, making sure that if you're just using the DraftKings summary tab to see like what's going in, what's coming out, then if you're winning, then you can just keep doing what you've been doing, whatever. If you're losing, take a peek. Maybe you need to use apps that you can track your bets on. You can see where you thrive, where you survive, and then you lean into those markets a bit harder. Like Kenny knows, he knows his bankroll system. You need those each ways to keep bringing money back into the pot after a close call. That's nothing worse than not benefiting from a guy that you had a good read on and he finishes third and nothing comes of it. So that's an awesome way to do that. The cash game side of things, like you mentioned, Kenny, if you are good at that, it's a great way to sustain your bankroll. And knowing that in GPPs, it takes 1 or 2 just a year to make it worth it. And furthermore on that is being in the right contests, because you finished second and made $2,000 somewhere else.
Yeah, well, that's second that I won for the $55, right? $55 that I won at the Truist. I came in second. First place was $20,000. Second place was $7,500. I came in second. It was $7,500. In the $5 big, huge lottery GPP, I won like $120 on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is you need to make sure that you're in the right contest so that when you have that 1 or 2 good weeks a year, you're getting rewarded for it. It's essentially like having a nice each way situation. You're not going to hit, if you win the $5 150 max, if you win it, boom, you're good to go. But if you finish 5th, if that's your, and you keep playing that tournament every single week, is that really going to help you that much? It drops off so fast. So choosing
Here's
the right
what I'll
structure is
say.
important.
If you want to play these lottos, I think you have to max enter. I think it's the only way that gives you any type of leverage. I think you have to max enter the $5. If you're going to play the 25, I think you have to max enter it.
Yeah. To
really, really get all the leverage that you can get throughout a year.
And that's $4,500 a slate.
Yeah, something like that. It's an insane number. But I think you have to do that. Now, now I have 5 lineups a week. I just play single entries. And I think, if you're playing single entry GPPs, if you're not mass multi-entering, don't waste your money playing 20 lineups in the $5. Play the fucking $100 single entry every week. Do that. Do that every week. There's no point in being less than max in these lottery ticket GPPs.
Yeah. From my side, I tend to do my best work in showdown. So I spend the majority of my funding on the showdown side of things. And then outrights, for me, I'm pathetic at them. I can't seem to find the guys that win the tournaments. But I did make, so far this year, I'm looking in the ballpark of 14 units returned in the placement side of things, top 5s, top 10s. I'm up 6 units just betting top 40s, 2.5 betting top 30s, 4 units betting top 20s, So that's my shtick. That's my jam. I'm not getting fucked over by one guy who's screwing me out of a win. He can win the tournament. My guy's still going to finish 7th. He's still going to finish top 10. He's still going to finish top 20. And that's how I got into betting. And that's what I know I'm the best at. But I'm also reflecting on the year, and I've spent way too much money in the first round leader markets because I just can't seem to get the guy across the line on his own. Every time I had a first round leader, it got chopped. So you got to make sure that you have your first round leader top fives over there as well. And doing all of that the right way is the way to go. So I lost so much money on Rory McIlroy this year, Kenny. So if you're tracking it the right way, you can really see some of the golfers that you're just not good at projecting. You think you know him and you think you're going to get him when he's hot. I'm just done betting Rory McIlroy, and I was waiting for him to screw my Wyndham Clark outright over as like a double dick, So we'll see how that goes forward. But I ran the stuff through AI for myself here to see where we're going, and it's been a good year in that department, in the placement side of things, which is what I do.
But here's the thing about you, Byron, is that's awesome that you're winning. That's just like a bonus, right? Because you bring so much to the table with your Discord, with your Patreon, with your models, with your stuff that people can actually tangibly use to help them, without just listening to your ass talk like me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they have something that they could take from you, use it on their own, and it helps them with their game. Like, so you don't have to worry. For me, I don't give a fuck if you win or lose or whatever, because it doesn't matter, because you're bringing other things to the game. Now that you're a winner, that's just, stacking chips, that's a good thing. But I don't need that from you. And I don't think you guys listening, you should need that from guys like Byron. From guys like me, I think you should ask for it. I think you should need it. I think you should. And the thing is, at least, like you're right, be transparent, because I'm going to have losing years. There's no fucking doubt about that, right? But you just got to show that you can win, right? For an extended amount of time, a full season. And if you're following guys like that and stuff like that, just make sure that they show that they've proven that they can win, and it's tangible, and they're transparent about it.
In content, there's 3 pillars. It's picks, it's tools, it's entertainment. Those are the 3 things you can provide to people that are watching, that are clicking, that are buying. You can assure entertainment, you can assure tools. Those are guarantees. Those are going to be there for you every week. Like, whether your mood is the best or not for the show, we don't know, but you can still, fake it till you make it type situation. The picks, that is the hardest part, is because you cannot guarantee that Brooks Koepka is going to hurt his wrist and peel out. Scotty Scheffler is going to have foot, mouth, and dick disease. It's going to be anything that can happen.
I can't believe Scotty fucking played. Dude, I can't believe it, because that shit is fucking contagious as a motherfucker.
Contagious, and from what I heard, it's sincerely painful.
And here's the thing, like,
your hands.
He started feeling symptoms on Monday. So I looked over this on online for this disease. It's like 3 days of flu-like symptoms before the blisters appear. So you figure Monday, Sunday is when, because he won the week before, he was fine. So you're thinking Monday is when the flu-like symptoms started. It usually takes 3 days. And then the blisters and all that shit, that's 5 to 8 days of that. And then after that, it's 7 days of skin rash. Do you think I don't even think we can play him this week, because he's not going to get any work. I think he's fine,
because I heard him in his presser, which happened after the tournament, where he finally disclosed to us that he had hand, foot, mouth, and hand, foot, and mouth disease. And he said he started finally feeling better on Sunday because he almost shook Cam Young's hand. And then he's like, oh no, I can't do that because it's ridiculously contagious. So he said he started feeling better. Obviously, he played much. I think the Thursday was the worst.
So if he stayed away from people, I can get that, because you're outside. You know what I'm saying? It's not like in close quarters. It sounds like, I didn't know that. So it sounds like he was pretty smart about it.
Yeah, he obviously knew what was cooking in that department. And I looked at his opening round, Kenny. It took him 11 holes to gain on approach. I think he lost on approach the first 11 holes of golf. This is one of the best iron players in the world. He couldn't hit a good iron shot for the first 11 with those blisters on his hands. And I think he finally kind of got it figured out as the week unfolded. So throat was rough. But again, like, we don't want to have to get into the whole injury reporting thing. But I mean, how the freaking hell did this guy struggle to grip a golf club and nobody saw what's going on here? Like, how? And like, I understand why he probably didn't want to mention it, because then he likes to stay out of the limelight. And I think that's the biggest reason why we don't need injury reporting, is like a Gary Woodland situation. We don't need this guy telling us he's dealing with a brain tumor. Like if he wants to do that privately, he can do that privately. But I do think from like an actual like Bobby McIntyre knee injury type situation, I mean, if you feel like disclosing it, disclose it. We need to be able to ask these questions a little bit better. But that's also, it's like, I'm not going to get into that all. But
there's never going to be an injury report. It's never going to happen. It's just something that we're going to have to deal with.
No.
It's just part of the game. Like Omar says, the game is the game. I'm rewatching The Wire right now, and it's hilarious because like I watch it every couple of years, and then like after I watch it like a year later, I'm like, I should probably watch The Wire again. I'm like, no, I just watched it. It can't be that entertaining. And then like every time I'm starting to show, like, should I start The Wire? No. And then like it takes me a year, and then I watch it again. I'm like, why the fuck didn't I start this again? It's such an amazing show. You pick up so much new shit on that show. I love it so much. I just started season 3 after starting. This is probably the 5th or 6th time that I've seen it through. So it's such an amazing show. Now there was some other shit that happened this week. Off the golf course, did you see the good ad, Byron?
The moment they posted it, Kenny, I replied and I said, "What a weird ad," and I ratioed the fuck out of them, because I was like, even if I knew who these people were, and I totally see let's just tell the people what actually really happened here first, Kenny. Like,
so if you haven't watched the ad, they deleted it, but you can still find it online.
Oh, yeah.
The good guys, I guess they're working with
partnered
Callaway.
with Callaway.
Yeah, it's a partner with Callaway for a new driver. And the beginning of the ad starts with a woman walking towards a man's set of clubs, and she's about to pick up this Callaway driver. The man runs full speed to the woman and pushes her and knocks her on the fucking ground. Then he stands over her like this and like says, "Don't ever touch my driver." Like, what decade do you think we are living in? Like,
what?
Shit like this might have flown in like the 90s, the 80s. 70s, 60s, 50s definitely would have worked. Okay, all right, definitely would have worked back then, right? Because it was a prerequisite to getting married. You beat your wife back then. I'm kidding. But actually, Sopranos. That's where you get that from the Sopranos, when Richie Aprile is talking to Christopher Moltisanti the first time he talks to Christopher, and he's like, you're dating my niece, Adriana, and he's like, if you ever fucking lay a finger on her before you give her last name, I will fucking kill you. You get married?
Yeah.
That's your business. Yeah, right. He's like, oh, you get married?
Sure.
That's your
really,
business.
Yeah,
right. But I mean, that's the old school train of thought. We are not in that old school train of thought this millennium. Right? This millennium. Like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, no matter, even if you personally thought it was funny or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, putting this out there at this time, in this climate, in this atmosphere, was one of the most tone deaf things I think I've ever seen from a golf company. And the thing is, their apology was even fucking worse. Because their apology said, this does not condone our thoughts on how, like, we should live or whatever, something like that. Then why the fuck did you make the video? Why? You're the one that made the video. Right? How does it? Yeah, look. We
posted a video to our channels that ultimately depicted actions that are not aligned with our values as a brand. We have since taken that content down. This is the only part of the apology, and sincerely apologize. Good has always stood for making the game of golf more inclusive to all, and we will continue to ensure that that is our mission moving forward. The only part that they really apologize is the 3 words that includes an "and" after a comma. It wasn't the front of a sentence. It was the end of, "We've rectified the situation. It's down now. Don't worry about it." It's like, I replied to this. I said, did you have Wyndham Clark write up this answer for you? Because this is one of the worst fucking apologies I've ever seen. It's horrible. Like, you just doubled down on it, and it's got ratioed again. The comments versus the likes on this got rocked. It's like, how do okay? So you first of all you start, okay, you know what we should do? Let's do this ad. That's the first time it's going to come into existence. You think of, let me run into this chick and like mash it, like truck stick her onto the floor. Obviously she's fine.
Leaning over her while she's down on the ground is some domestic violence type shit. Like, dude, people who beat their wives, that's how they do it, right? When their wife is knocked the fuck down, they fucking hover over and talk shit. That's like, it was crazy.
So you decide to do this ad, then you do it. Then you go and you record this ad, and then you probably have to do multiple takes. You maybe have to, and then you have to go and edit the ad, and then you have to watch it and post it. At what point, how did not one single person put their hand up and say, guys, maybe this is a bad idea?
I've never watched a good show, so maybe that's how they roll. I don't know. I wouldn't think that would be how they roll, because they have they're sponsoring a goddamn PGA Tour event in the fall.
I know.
They are the main sponsors of a PGA Tour event in the fall. So my guess is this is not normal for them, because there's no way the PGA would let guys like this be a sponsor of the show. All they had to do for this video is make the woman a dude. And then you could have punched him in the face. You could have hit him with a fucking baseball bat, for all I give a fuck. It would have been fine. It would have been hilarious.
If it was the skinniest guy on the good squad, and he just beat up the biggest guy, just totally mashed him up, we're totally cool with that. Like, read the fucking room, boys and girls. You know, like the fact that it all went down. To be in their defense, he did not truck stick her. It was like a cut. So like he made contact, and then she like fell, like you know, it wasn't like a full motion type thing, but still.
But you knew what happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's and then the standing over, and then the last part where the guy like grabs it and then like starts like barging out of the way, and then like has like this goof. All of a sudden gets the yips over the driver. He's got two balls that he's teeing up with. It was just a total. It was one of the and in cahoots with Callaway. Like, that's the thing. It's like, did Callaway not ever look at this and think like,
here's the problem. Another problem. When this tournament happens in the fall, there's going to be repercussions. I mean, there's going to be women that are pissed. It's just what's going to happen. I don't really fault them for being angry about it, because this is some crazy shit. This is some crazy fucking shit.
They messed up, dude. And you got to dude, if you just put your hand up and said, guys, we whiffed on this. Like, the whole apology needed to be just like, we messed up.
Yeah, we fucked up.
Like, we messed up. This is unacceptable, to be honest with you. Like, this is just not good. We are truly sorry about it. Nope. Instead, it's just comma and sincerely apologize. It's just like,
this is going to come back, and we're going to hear way more about this when this tournament, the good championship, or whatever the fuck it's called, in the fall, which we will be going over with whatever course the fuck they're playing, and whoever's playing that event, we will have picks. It's going to be a shit show.
Yeah, it's going to be a shit show. So King of the Draft, Kenny, while we talking about beating people up, I got Tambo in a locker and I elbowed him a couple times with old Wyndham Clark and Patrick Cantley on my team. Mike, I've got oh baby.
Yeah. So here's the thing. That is a picture of the Kingslayer. This is Byron. Byron beat Tambo, one of the greatest DFS players ever. Right? He beat him heads up. He is playing again, one of the greatest DFS players ever next week in RG Notorious.
Yes.
If Byron can beat Noto, his new name is the Kingslayer. It is Byron. That is fucking Byron Lannister right there on your fucking screen. They got the Ship It Nation hat on the plate. The next one's going to be the RG hat right next to it. Taking down Kings. King. Byron, once again, you will not be the favorite going into this event. You are going to be a massive underdog. But the thing is, you not only beat Tambo, and I'm not talking shit about Tambo. I love Tambo. And again, for his defense, the variance of 1 week of play is ridiculous. But that doesn't take away anything from you taking down one of the greatest DFS players in the game. Your lineup, I checked, would have been top 17th in the $100 single entry. You would have won like $500, $600, $700.
I had it in the $5 Kenny, and I won 15.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, there you go. Contest. Pick the right fucking contest, people.
So it was a great. I had the first and second place guys: Patrick Cantley. I had Sam Burns, Alex Noren, Russell Henley, and Alex Smalley.
I looked at your lineup. I looked at your lineup versus Tambo's lineup. I was like, Byron was about to get his ass whooped, other than Wyndham Clark. That's what I thought. I was like, this is going to be an ass whooping by Tambo. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Tambo went with rocket launches. Everyone on his team just hit it a million miles, whereas I had Noren and Henley. And Noren was looking to cash a top 10 on the outside of that going into round 4 and kind of went backpedaling.
6 over, yeah.
But Minwoo Lee finished basically DFL. Cameron Young was outside Tambo's team kind of just did not bring it to the party. So we'll see what I can do versus Noto. I already hit him with the he said, I've always been looking forward to do a show with you. And then I replied and said, didn't we do a show with somebody else for Rainmakers? And then I replied, oh, sorry, that was somebody else. It was with Peter Jennings. So I was like, all of you legends just look the same.
Again, the legend. Right?
I'm already starting with I'm already trying to
the mind games. Mike, the thumbnail this week's got to be Byron as Jamie, and you can put me as Tywin.
Perfect.
Tyrion.
Okay.
On the toilet.
Little Tyrion. I'll be the little guy. That'll be the thumbnail this week. The title of the show will be the Kingslayer. The Byron, the Kingslayer.
Yeah.
So I have pretty impressive stuff. That's awesome, Byron. Take the shit down next week. It should be fun. I will be
$1,500 on the line.
On that. Shut the fuck up. There's money involved?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I didn't even know that. That's how much I pay attention when I play. I thought, let me. And
a really nice belt. That's like a $400 or $500 belt that they've put together. So
fuck yeah.
If I have I don't care really about, the money would be awesome, but having the belt.
You're about to have another
You
child.
need that in the background, bro.
$1,500 is like 2 weeks of diapers. You'd be good to go.
Exactly. I'll pay for the studio with the $1,500 and put the belt right on top of me over here.
No, you got to wear that shit. You got to put that shit over your shoulder for the whole show.
Yeah. So we'll see. Obviously I'm not going to win because, going up against Noto, but I'm going to give it the good old college try and see what we can do. We're going to be drafting like half the field, which is going to be a very interesting concept, because there's only 30 people and we got to pick 6 each. So I'm going to think of some theory.
Don't give your strategy out here. Noto might be watching. He's not.
No,
but
no,
you never know. You never fucking know. So go ahead. And if you guys don't know, we used to be a part of the Roto Grinders Network. So this is funny. Just like Tambo was a part of the SGD last week, we used to be a part of the Roto Grinders Network.
That's incredible.
Well. So this is fun. Byron, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Tambo opened up his pick. He thought he had 2 because he's always gone second. So he went and he got the first pick and he gave 2 picks up. So he said Ludwig Oberg and Cameron Young. And he eventually settled with Ludwig. And then I tried to say Cameron Young multiple times and I just couldn't get it out my mouth. I wasn't going to ever take him anyway. And then I let Tambo take him back again. And
it's good because Cam sucked.
It worked out to be was like, I was very close to just taking Cam, and I would have probably taken Cam and Clark maybe, but Sam Burns didn't quite come to the party. But whatever, we're through to the next round. It's going to be a fun time. It's been a great show.
Make sure you watch it. You can watch
Tuesday,
the drive
9
live
Eastern. Tuesday, 9 Eastern.
On Spencer's channel. Yep.
Tee Off Sports YouTube channel. Or King of the Draft. I can't remember. But if you're following me, if you're following Kenny, if you're following at Tee Off Sports on Twitter, that link will be out there already for you guys anyway. So 9 Eastern over there. We'll have some fun.
So one quick thing before we move on to this week's Tour Championship, we'll probably spend like 8 minutes on because what the fuck. I'll be in Green Bay, Wisconsin this week for my auction draft. So anybody out there who has recommendations, we're playing Royal St. Patrick, which is a links course. I think this might be the first links course that I've ever played. If you pull up their website, Byron, you show the pictures. They're fucking incredible. We'll be playing golf there, but I need food recommendations.
Where?
Green Bay. Royal St. Patrick, Green Bay.
Good God. Green Bay. Let's go.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, wow. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, so these are the courses this is the course we'll be playing. It is a link style course. It should be fun. We will be going to Lambeau Field for the final preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals. I need food recommendations, guys.
Sick.
I need food recommendations, and I need good bars. In the Green Bay, we're staying, I think, 2 blocks from the stadium. We got this huge party house that fits like 12 people. Their whole basement is this huge game room with like billiards, air hockey, golden tee, pinball machines, video games. It should be a fun time, but I need food and I need bar recommendations, people. So please, people from that area, help me out in the comments. Hit me up with your favorite restaurants in the area, favorite bars in the area. Thanks a lot.
And who's going to win this week, by the way? Shout out Seb, our guy. So good stuff. Enjoy, Kenny. Enjoy. There's a good chance.
I don't even say the Oval Office. We're already going to the Oval Office. It is a strip club down there. The funny thing is I have withdrawn $3,000 from my winnings the last 2 weeks. So that should cover the girls. Probably not cover the bar, but that will cover the girls for the night. So we are looking good on that one.
Let's go. Kenny Kim.
Yeah.
Tell us from the fairways of Green Bay to the fairways of this week at the Tour Championship in Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely need to get my dick wet. All right, so for this week, the final event of the PGA season is upon us as the top 30 golfers in the FedEx Cup points list head to East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta for the Tour Championship. Reminder, this is now a winner-take-all event. No more, starting strokes, none of that bullshit. Winner is the FedEx Cup champion. Makes the betting a lot more simpler. We know what to do. All right, I'm not playing cash this week. It's too small of a field. The variance of 30 people, it's just not worth it. So I'm going straight GPPs this week. I think I'm going to play like the $200 single entry, the $100 single entry, and 4 of the $55. That's the way I'm going to do it. I'll make 6 lineups. That's about how much I spend every week anyways, around $500 to $515 is what I normally spend a week on DFS. So that's what I'll be doing this week. It'll just be GPPs. Now, strategy when it comes to GPPs for this week. Play who you like. Play who you think who you want. But one thing that I would do is, pick a couple of guys in certain, like 9,000 and up. Play the lowest owned guy, right? 7,000 to 9,000. Play the lowest owned guy. Because the game theory and the leverage here is so much more difficult, right? But the thing about it is when you roster a lower owned guy in an event like this, where there's only 30 people, the odds that he can do well is magnified like 5 times at least, almost from a full field event, right? You would think, right? So like we said last week with Rory being the lowest owned, all these guys are good. All these guys can come out and show up, right? So I think what you need to do is you need to throw in a couple of leverage plays. I think you need to play the lowest owned guy above 9K, and I think you need to play the lowest owned guy 7K to 9K. I think you have to play at least one of those in a lineup. At least one of those in a lineup. That would be my strategy. When it comes to the other 5 guys, just play who the fuck you want. Play who you think is going to win.
we were looking at back on my Back Nine Bets YouTube channel. We do a Sunday night preview recap type thing, and where we just dive into the nitty gritty, the weeds of this with Sweet Spot DFS and course history. We filtered by bad course history and good course history. It was the same results, like for a 30-person tournament, like it's so likely that golf variance just shows up and it's 30 guys. So there's going to be guys that have no business playing well that will play well this week. And there's 30 people. So trying to just don't be scared to kind of click random names, because not all of them, but like one or two in your lineup that doesn't quite make sense. But if you're standing there on a Sunday afternoon on your couch, sitting on your couch, and you realize, I'm not shocked that this guy's inside the top 5, like that's going to be the case. So
you shouldn't be shocked that anyone in this event is in the top 5.
Exactly. And what we also noticed is, although it's a weird, there's only 30 guys with Scotty at 14K and then 6K, all of the optimal lineups, all of the sweet spots, all of, the GPP winning lineups were, hardly any of them were less than like $500 left on the table, so you still got to spend your money. You don't get super goofy with like $1,500 all your lineups, not having that, but definitely kind of spend your money, because we noticed that trend was definitely the way it went, with this, since the new system has set them all on the same playing field going into the week.
Okay. All right, so let's get to the course. East Lake Golf Course, 7,500 yard par 71 now, with 4 par 3s and 3 par 5s. The course went through some major renovations, I think like 2 or 3 years ago. Andrew Green, he added like 150 yards of length, changed the greens to Tiff Eagle Bermuda, restored a lot of bunkers, added another par 5, making it a par 71, changed the fairway grass to a new blended zoysia, which produces more rollout. We saw similar changes at Colonial the same year. There weren't that many differences when it came to who you were looking for. I don't think that really changes. I think, it might make the course just a little bit more difficult. Again, but if it's soft, I haven't looked at the weather yet. So that's one thing that we do need to check. My guess, Atlanta this time of year is humid and rainy would be my guess. So even in those situations, I think 15, 16, 17 under probably going to be the winning score. The par 5s are reachable, but if the prevailing wind shifts, the 600-yard par 5 18th will be tough to reach by shorter hitters. Usually the wind is at the golfer's back on that hole, so it doesn't quite play as long as the 600 yards. The par 3s here at East Lake are on the difficult side, as all 4 routinely end up as 4 of the 9 most difficult holes on the course. 3 of them play over 200 yards, and the 4th is around 193, 195. 4 of the par 4s are between 450, are over 450 yards. Another 5 are between 400 and 450, and 2 of the par 4s are under 400. The course was originally designed by Donald Ross, but Reese Jones redesigned the course in 94, and then this other guy, Alex Green, redid it again, I think in 2023, 2024. The greens were switched from bentgrass to Bermuda in 2007. Also, East Lake switched the 9s a couple of years ago, and I think they did it again last year. The round now ends on the 600-yard par 5. I think it used to end on a par 3. All right, now it's no fun. The last 4 holes are now going to make the final stretch a little bit more challenging and more fun for the viewer. The 15th hole, long par 3, Peninsula Green. The prevailing wind blows towards the water, and there's a huge bailout bunker on the left side. So, this is one of the holes that the golfers do bail out onto the left. They have, if they're on that uphill, which can happen, and they have a downward lie on that, they have the water right behind the green, right? 16th hole was lengthened, blind approach. 17th hole with a major dog leg, one of the only few holes on the course with a major dog leg, and was also lengthened. And then, of course, they'll finish on the par 5, 18th. And that gives up a lot of birdies and eagles, but a big number is possible. We saw this, I think, a few years ago, Rory holing out for eagle on 16, and Chappell having a birdie putt for the win on 18. Like, we've seen, exciting shit happen on
Kevin
this type
Chappell
of format. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chappell, yeah. Supposedly used to be a drinking buddy of Kevin Kisner, but he stopped drinking, and Kevin's sad about that. All right, now, off the tee. You didn't see that interview? He was talking about the guys to have a drink with, and he said that like every time he went to Kevin Chappell's house, I forget exactly what happened, but it was pretty funny. Go check it out.
Okay.
I think it was on Barstool or some shit.
Okay.
All right, now off the tee, golfers are going to see tree-lined fairways that are fairly narrow in width, large fairway bunkers in play in the landing zones. The rough is not too tall, around 2.5 to 3 inches, but it's very thick, similar to what we saw last week. So hitting fairways is going to be very important. Golfers need to hit certain spots below the hole on the greens to have realistic birdie chances, and hitting it in the rough off the tee will make this, of course, more difficult. The numbers show this is less than 50% of approaches from the rough land on the green, while over 80% of balls land on the green from the fairway. Now, this doesn't mean that driver is left in the bag here. Many golfers still use the big dog off the tee, so fairways is going to be missed. I think a few years ago, driver usage was around 86%. I think that's where we saw, I think 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not sure if that has gone down in the last couple of years, but if it has, I don't think it's been by that much. If golfers struggle off the tee, a solid short game is going to have to be useful. On approach shots, golfers are going to see a wide array of different green sizes. The larger greens will be multi-tiered with a lot of slope. The smaller greens won't be tiered, but they will have a lot of slope from front to back. Some of the small greens will be sloped from back left to front right and vice versa, which will make putting and chipping more difficult. Greenside bunkers will be in play on most holes, with the majority of them guarding the very front of the greens. These Bermuda grass greens are a main defense of the course. They should play firm and fast, stip meter rating of over 12. Golfers need to hit a ton of greens, and they must be prepared to hit putts with a lot of break and a lot of speed. Byron, what are you looking for in golfers this week?
It's an interesting week, Kenny, because I was just showing you there the approach profile for this week is you don't often see golfers that have good long irons and also good wedge players. Their buckets typically overlap with the one next to it, maybe 150 to 200 and 200 plus, or 100 to 150, 150 to 200 is like where their best skill sets are. It's not often that middle ground is just not the best one of the bunch there. So this week we're going to see in excess of tour average approach shots from 100 to 150. And then we're going to see more than tour average as well from 200 plus. So trying to find golfers that have that wedge proximity ranges and good approach play from the wedge side of things and the long irons is going to make a big difference. And we're going to be looking for guys that can pound driver out here. You got to be able to dominate this golf course with driver. It's statistically proven that distance is, the best way to dominate this golf course. So that thing. And then if you take a look at the past winners of this golf course, Tommy Fleet was playing some fantastic golf. Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy, and Patrick Cantley. These guys they were all like, now those last three were with pre-positioned leaderboards, but you still get the point. The best golfers, they're all the best golfers this week, but ideally the guy that's going to win this year is like playing some of the best golf there is on the tour. So some good form coming in. I'll have my models and stuff fired up this afternoon for everybody. But that's kind of just the general gist there. I think you did a great job of describing what we needed as well. So yeah, just pretty simple.
Just a couple of things that I'm focusing on this week. Strokes gain approach, par 4 scoring, scrambling strokes gain around the green, par 3 efficiency from 200 plus, proximity from 200 plus. I think you can have 6 or 7 shots from over 200 yards this week. So those are the things, some of the things that I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah. So like if we filter by guys that are the best wedge players here, you can see there's a lot more red in the long iron department for these best wedge players compared to like 150 to 200, which is what I was trying to get at earlier. And then if you filter by 200 plus, it's the same situation. The best long iron players are, not necessarily the best wedge players. So trying to find guys that are a bit of both, like Colin Morikawa, like Hideki Matsuyama, those are kind of the names that you could be looking for in our, the week ahead here, kind of going off. This is obviously from last week, but, the stats still are the same. So that's how we're kind of looking on the approach side of things over there for us. So We'll see. Maybe Colin gets it done. And he almost came through as well last week, and he was right in the mix there too. So Colin,
he impressed me. Him and Goddard impressed me a lot because, like I said, I don't think Morikawa is 100%. I still don't think that he's 100%, but he's out there grinding and doing his thing and playing well. I think he's fighting through it. I mad respect to Colin Morikawa because no one ever really calls him a tough guy, right? If anything, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think he's manufactured that stereotype for himself, though.
Yeah,
because I'm
going to give him his flowers for this one because visually he does not look 100%.
No,
but he's out there playing all these events, doing his thing, not withdrawing, and playing well. Obviously it's not bad enough where it's affecting his game too much, but I definitely don't think he's still 100%.
Yeah. And I think anytime things aren't going well for him, he's going to project that he's not looking 100%. And then when he's playing well, I think he's probably going to walk with a bit more spunk in his step, but that's what I would do because he's got that like hard casing around him now that he can like go back into for the back injury. I'm still not feeling great and whatever. So, and
he hasn't said anything about it in a while.
Yeah.
I'm the one bringing it up.
It's confidence.
I'm the one bringing it up.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't said anything about his back injury in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Since he came back.
And I've blown my back out once a year with Piper so far. It's like once a year. You bend over so much more as a dad. And I think he just had a kid. So we'll see what happens. His poor little back, once that child starts running around, is going to be a nightmare for him. So we'll see what happens for old Colin. But yeah. And then also, I don't know when I'll be on the show or when I'll miss one because due date's September 13th. So that's right around President's Cup / the first tournament of the fall swing. It could be any time. So if I'm not on the show, apologies, guys. That's where I'll be is with the second little one on the way. So excited for that. Let's chat about this week, Kenny. Where are we going with your bets for DraftKings? But before we do that, let's hear a word from them. New DraftKings customers, get in the game right now. Sign up today and make your first deposit of just $5 and instantly get $25 in free Pick 6 bonus picks, plus a powerful single-use 100% winnings boost token. That means you can play for free with $25 in bonus picks. And if you win, boost those winnings up to 100%. That's up to $100 boost in cash. New customers only. Bonus picks and your boost token expire in just 14 days, so don't wait. This offer is live from June 20th through August 23rd. Download the DraftKings app, sign up, and start playing Pick 6 today. Must be 18 or older, 19 in Alabama, Nebraska, 21 in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. Valid only where Pick 6 is available. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit required. Full terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Play free, win bigger, only on DraftKings Pick 6. And we are back for this week's Tour Championship betting card. Kenneth Kim having a fantastic betting season. Continue the run here, my friend. Where are we going in the outright department?
Okay, so you remember when I told you that I needed to keep my bankroll tight these next 2 weeks to keep a profitable year? Well, I won last week. All right, so I'm up about $2,100 for the year. For the year. So what I've done this week is I've added my bankroll. I am betting $660 this week. And so if I lose, I still am up $1,500 for the year. The reason I'm doing this is because if I win, I'll be up 100 units instead of 30.
Shoot for the stars.
So if I lose, I'm up 30 units, which is a respectable year. Yep. Respectable year. The most I think I won, I was 60 units up 2 years ago. And I think the first year I bet was 2018, and I didn't keep track, but I hit like 7 winners in a 12-week span. It was ridiculous, and I was up. Tough, I was up there, and I had one other year, I think, with Tambo, from 2009. I think it might have been 2019, but 2000 to like 2004 2003 was not great, but it happens. So either I'm going to win 30 units overall, or with these two guys, I only got two guys on the card. If one of these two guys wins, I can win 100 units for the year. So my first bet, it's going to be Rory McIlroy, 11-1 with 3 places. Again, you were talking about form coming in, and what Rory said in his meeting, in his press conference after he lost to Wyndham, really stuck to me. When he said that, I can't even be disappointed because my game wasn't anywhere near to be where it should be to deserve a win. Dude almost won with that game, right? Dude almost won at that game with that type of game. I can't remember the last time Rory's played 3 weeks in a row.
That's
right. So he's coming in playing a lot of competitive golf, right? He's going to be playing. I think the last time it happened might have been the beginning of 2025 and the end of 2024 with the playoffs. I think it's been almost 2 years since he's played 3 weeks in a row. He's dusting off the rust at the FedEx St. Jude. Last week, he came out with no expectation, just trying to get his game better for the Tour Championship, and he overexceeded. And now he's playing his 3rd week. He's putting in the work. He's putting in the effort, because that's the one thing you don't know about Rory right now, because whether his head is going to be in the game or not, right? There's $10 million on the line. This will be his 3rd, I think, FedEx Cup, which I think would be the most ever by any golfer, if I'm not mistaken. The guy is a legacy freak now. That's what it's all about for him. And this puts another little check mark on his legacy. And the fact that he's actually been able to practice and play competitive golf for now going to be 3 straight weeks in a row. Give me Rory McIlroy 11-1.
This will be his 4th, Kenny. He's won it 3 times already. So it'll put him way ahead of Tiger. It'll be his 4th FedEx Cup win.
Yeah. And it's all, and the thing is, it's a legacy. He's only going to play the important shit. I know we don't think it's important, but when it comes to stats, in 30, 40 years, when he's, an old figure hitting the ceremonial tee shot at the Masters, what's going to come up? 2-time Master winner, 6-time major champion, 4-time FedEx Cup winner. Those are going to be the first 3 things to pop up, right? Those, and that's what he's playing for nowadays. That legacy, that screen 30 years from now, when he's hitting the ceremonial tee shot at the Masters, he wants that screen to be filled up with all the important shit. And this is one of the important things, at least to him. I mean, maybe not to us. Right? We all laugh at what this event is. But, when it comes to the stats, when it comes to the numbers, when it comes to legacy, this is important.
It's also like 12. What do they make? $10 million as the winner.
And that's not including the winning the event. So it's like 13.6 million or 14 million to win this.
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler made $23 million last year. Like insane. So
So I'm going at next. I'm going Patrick Cantlay, 22-1 with 3 places. The guy's playing incredible golf, right? We've seen recently guys who we thought never could win again or win at all come into this event and take it down. I bet Tommy Fleetwood last year at this event, so I remember vividly. The guy's playing well. He is playing exceptional golf. This is the best form he's had in a while. He tends to play well for these type of situations when a lot of money's on the line, stuff like that. I mean, he's won a FedEx Cup before. He's done exceptionally well in the playoffs throughout his career. He is playing some incredible golf, ranked 3rd in my model in the last 24 rounds. That's in this field. That's a field with all of these top great golfers. He is 3rd in this field in the last 24 rounds in my model. 3rd in strokes gained tee to green, 13th in strokes gained off the tee, 3rd in strokes gained approach, 4th in strokes gained ball striking, right? 12th in birdie or better percentage, 12th in driving accuracy, 2nd in overall proximity from 200 plus, 2nd from fairway proximity from 200 plus, 8th from rough proximity from 200 plus, right? 7th in strokes gained par 4 scoring. This guy's been playing exceptional golf coming in. These are his types of shits. Give me Patrick Cantlay 22-1 with 3 places. So my card for this week, Rory McIlroy 11-1 3 places, Patrick Cantlay 22-1 3 places to try and win $3,200.
Let's go, brother. Let's go. I don't have any overlap with you, so rooting for you, but also rooting for myself. I'll take a win from either one of us. This is on the screen here. I'm showing you Tommy Fleetwood medium. I think Patrick Cantlay is Tommy Fleetwood light. Sam Burns is Tommy Fleetwood medium. He's the same philosophy as what Tommy Fleetwood was last year with you. Perennial winner. The only difference is that he's won way more than Tommy Fleetwood did. He wasn't, but so is Patrick Cantlay. But it's been a long time since Sam Burns has done anything. In fact, if you take a look at his career summary, it was 2023 that he won his last tournament. So it's really something you want to take a peek at. So he's been playing some fantastic golf. I mean, 3rd at the St. Jude, 3rd at the Open Championship, 2nd at the US Open, and 4th at the Memorial. Throwing a 12th at the Travelers and a 20th at the RBC Canadian. Buddy has been balling out. Had a bit of a roughie out at the BMW Championship. It is what it is. I'm not too concerned about that one outlier. Sometimes you see guys in incredibly good form have one blimp on the radar, kind of resets their expectations a bit, and then that form reappears a week later. I think Sam Burns is absolutely live to do good things at this golf course. He's 18-1 out there when I clicked it, popped in the Discord. He can go lights out with the putter. He's been playing fantastic golf. I mean, the iron play has been sensational. He's gaining over a stroke in basically every single time he tees it up and around a golf. It's just really, really impressive from Sam, and we know what that putter can do. If he can find him, he's felt every single one of those top fours. He had a legit chance to win that tournament. So he didn't. At some point, that's surely got to change. So. We'll see what Sam Burns can do. 18-1, I felt was a very fair number considering who's ahead of him. I looked at Patrick Cantlay and was like, but you are the whisperer, Kenny Kim. So we'll go with him there. And then I found a little 30-1 on my boy Russell Henley. He doesn't pop for anything that I know I mentioned I want distance drivers. He doesn't have any of that, but he finds fairways. He finds the bottom of the hole with the putter. And he finished 2nd last year. So he is absolutely live. Yep. And guess what? You can get Russell Henley, who is the official 6th ranked golfer in the world, at 30-1 in a 30-man field. I bet him at the Charles Schwab, came through for me. I'm going to go back to my guy. I feel like he constantly he could be the new Colin Morikawa situation. Remember when everyone was like, anytime Colin's 30-1, you just auto bet him because that's just what the disrespect here. I mean, look at this overall profile, with the driving accuracy around the green play, approach play, putting. All he's missing is distance, but he makes up for that completely with the driving accuracy. So I'm not concerned about Russell Henley.
80% green and regulation rate from the fairways here.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be in the fairways, and he had a 2nd there last year, and he's been solid. He hasn't necessarily really rocked and rolled. He's kind of lost the chipping a bit the last little while. He's not a very good chipper at the moment, but he's typically been a very good around the green player in over the last couple of years. So if that bounces back, I would not be shocked at a golf course that's back on Bermuda. He's from the South. I'm all in on Russell Henley this week at 30-1 alongside Samuel Burns. So that's my card for the week. I'm working on some back-end tools maybe that might be coming out in the fall swing for some beta testing for the Model Maniac Discord that might present me with some opportunities for live ads as we go along. But I don't know if it'll be ready or not. We'll see. So there's lots of space for live ads because sometimes the odds drift enough, that you can pounce on somebody in that department there. So guys like Chris Gotterup intrigue me going into a Sunday. If he's sniffing around the lead, I wouldn't be shocked if Chris Gotterup wins his 4th tournament this year from behind, but we'll monitor the situation there. So Henley and Burns. Let's dive into this week's Blood, Sweat, and DFS tiers for the Tour Championship. We're going to go over every single golfer in the field for you guys because you deserve that. So, Kenny Kim, who's the first of 30 that you'll be playing this week?
So, no Scotty for me because I'm still worried about. Here's the thing about Scotty. Everything for him, like he likes everything the way he prepares, and he has a set way to do it. And I think with the illness and stuff like that, I'm just not going to do it. And 14,000, I'm not playing it. I'm going to play Rory. I'm going to play Rory. Talked about him, of course, in the betting segment, why I think he's going to be great. I'm going to play Rory. Xander might be the lowest owned guy above 9K. What do you think?
Yes.
I'm playing the lowest owned guy that's projected. I use Gup's Corner ownership projections. I'm going to play the lowest owned guy. The other two guys that I'm going to play in the 9,000 and up range is going to be Sam Burns and Wyndham Clark. You talked about Sam. I agree with everything you said. He's been playing good golf. Again, we've seen guys who've struggled to win come in and do well here. I like Sam Burns a lot. Wyndham Clark is hot. We've said this before. When Wyndham's hot, he stays hot. I wouldn't be shocked if he went out here and won again and just stamped his ticket on the Player of the Year.
Yeah. I think the thing with Scotty is if you click him at $14,000, you've got $7,200 left to click 5 other names.
It's a lot easier this week to do. It's a lot easier because you got guys at 7,500 that have won multiple events.
Correct. But you're still having to click potentially a Akshay Bhatia, Ryan Fox, whatever. We'll see how it goes. But ultimately, if you're clicking Ludwig, Wyndham Clark, Sam Burns, those are the 3 names that give you the same remaining salary for the other 3 spots that you have to fill 5 of with Scotty Scheffler. So these 3 guys are just so much. The 3v3 of a Scotty and the next 2 guys is going to be it's insane. Just looking at this kind of thing like this, how it would be salary wise. So I'm out on Scotty as well. I think Rory makes a lot of sense this week as well, like you mentioned. And then I like Xander. He's also one of these guys, like he treats these. I thought he would treat the playoffs like he treats the majors to some capacity, but did not do that last week. I think he could absolutely be the lowest owned now that I think about it a little bit more as well, Kenny. I think you're on the right road there with Xander Schauffele coming home in the 10K range. So I'm in the mood for food on Xander's side of things there. And then in the 9s, I'm going to be going with Sam Burns at $9,200. I think that is just a very, very, very affordable price tag to go to someone that I believe is going to win this week. So we'll see what happens with Sammy. And then in the 8s,
I'm playing 3 guys. I'm playing Patrick Cantlay, like we talked about in the betting segment. Definitely playing Cantlay. Definitely going to play Morikawa. He's shown a lot of heart to me. I'm going to play him. If he can hit these fairways, you have an 80-90% green regulation percentage from the fairways. He's going to be up there. And I really do like Gotterup this week. He impressed me last week because I wasn't a big fan of him last week because of all the dog legs. And you saw some errors from him. That dog leg right on the 17, he pulls it left into the bunker and really shits the fucking bed. You saw some of that. But I like the way he overall played. This course does not have as many dog legs. And he is a grinder. I'm going to play Gotterup also in the 8K range. So Cantlay, Morikawa, Gotterup for me in the 8Ks.
Yeah, I think Gotterup makes 2, but he's in that range-ish area there. And Colin, I like a lot as well. I think they make sense, especially with that driver distance narrative. If people kind of lean into that, it's just because that's the correlation coefficient, whatever, for the tournament. It doesn't mean that there are outliers that can't succeed. Like accurate drivers of the golf ball can really give themselves a lot of good looks from the fairway. So Colin Morikawa is showing some good form fist pumping putts down the stretch for like a T4 last week. He's in the mood, like
He's
I'm
in
cool
it.
with that.
Yeah.
So give me him there. And then my boy Russell Henley, $7,500. I just don't understand how you can afford to not click his name, because he's instantly going to give you more salary after you click his name. You go from $8,300 to $8,500 if you're clicking Russell Henley, who finished second year last year. He could easily do that for you. He's likely going to finish in the top half of the field. That's just what he does in general. So give me old Russ Bus in that department. Hideki Matsuyama, we mentioned, he's one of the few guys that we showed on the chart here for the Tour Champs, with good approach play from the wedge side of things. And
I'm worried about Hideki.
Running out of gas.
8 of 9 weeks, I think, is what
it may
he's
even be straight.
Now.
Yeah.
I think I missed 1 week. So like 8 of 9 weeks, he sort of faded a little bit last week. It looked like he was out of gas. Doesn't have his caddy, which really not that big of a deal because he's won without Shota before. I think he's a little bit. I like Henley a lot, just like you. I'll be playing Victor Hovland at 7,300 as well with a strong iron game. I think he's top 10 in my model and bottom 10 in pricing. So, I'll go ahead and play Victor, and I'll play Henley in the 7K range.
I was watching a Robert McIntyre interview. He's an interview king. We did a whole segment about Robert McIntyre's interview the other show a couple of weeks ago. And this time round, somebody mentioned to him, have you ever heard about manifestation? Manifestation McIntyre. And he was like, I spent the majority of my time before going to bed every night leading up to the tournament watching good vibe, good feeling sports movies where the star of the show overcame adversity, the classic arc of a movie, and just manifested the good vibes, just getting home on the good vibes alone, because I think he's still got a lingering knee injury and just, he's a grumpy bitch. And anytime you can find some sort of happiness in his life, he tends to play some very good golf. His headspace is something that definitely is a depictor for how well he can play. And I think he's in a good headspace at this point in time at $7,100. And then JJ Spahn is one of these guys that I don't know. I've been high on him in general for the wrong times of the year. And then I get off of him, and then he wins the Valero. And then, at $7,200, this is a US Open champ. He won this year already. I wouldn't be shocked if he plays well here this week again. He's a great ball striker in general. So that price tag really affords him a good opportunity to do so. So give me a bit of him. I like Chris Gotterup a lot this week as well. And then here's the entire $9,000 range on one screen for you guys. Justin Rose, Tom Kim, Minwoo Lee, Gary Woodland, Adam Scott, Christopher Wright, and Alex Smalley, Alex Fitzpatrick, Akshay Bhatia, and Ryan Fox doing their thing. Kenny, where are we going over here?
I'm going to be rooting for Gary, but he's going to be a fade for me. I'm worried about what happened on Saturday. And, of course, this is a playoff event. There's not as many people. There's going to be a lot more people condensed in different groups compared to, when there's 40, 30 some odd groups starting in the morning. You know what I'm saying? People are a little bit more spread out. This is going to be a lot more condensed with his PTSD. He spoke about it on Saturday, and he said that's why he did not play well on Saturday. I'm a little worried for that. I'm going to be rooting for him big time, but I will be fading him. I'm not going to play him. I like sort of Alex Smalley down there at 6,100 to show me a little something with his iron game. He's played well against the big boys before. We've seen it recently in the last couple of months. Give me Alex Smalley down here. I'm going to play Tom because he's going to hit a lot of fairways, hopefully, and a lot of greens. It's going to come down to
so good.
It's going to come down. He's going to hit a shit ton of fairways. He's going to hit a shit ton of greens. It's going to come down to putting for Tom, and it could explode. But if he has a slightly above average putting week, he could easily top 10. Easily top 10 this event. I'm going to play him as well. And I'm looking at Justin Rose. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Rosie here at $6,900. He's top 10 in iron play in the last 24 rounds in this field. So it looks like the new clubs he's handling well. He's got them down, right? Again, like Rory, we don't know how much he plays or practices, but we do know he's played he's going to play 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Right? So we know he's putting the work in, right? So give me Justin Rose at 6,900.
Yeah, and he had a really good Sunday at the St. Jude, so that there's lingering form for sure underneath there. And I've been running these tests, Kenny, and it's like, okay, if someone that's out of form shows up and has a good first round, what is the chance that this guy continues to play good golf? I'm trying to do all this stuff for Showdown and try and figure out these metrics. Justin Rose was one of the few guys that pop for that metric. Is if he starts off hot, he typically maintains that intensity throughout the week. He doesn't blow out and go full Keegan. The fact that we know what that term is, it's hilarious because that's the opposite side of the spectrum. He's at any moment he can just eject. So I like Justin Rosie, especially as a live ad potential as well, if he's showing you some stuff this week. So he'll likely be low owned and low price. So lots to like over here. Like you said, Tom Kim, I'm excited for him, man. He's one of my favorite golfers. He gets that bad stigma with the slow play. He's playing with Ryan Fox, a true tortoise and the hare situation going off first.
Definitely not playing Foxy.
No.
Definitely not playing.
That's also another thing I was looking at is how do these golfers play with different partners and things? Ryan Fox and Tom Kim going off the first is
well, they reshuffle, I think, every round.
Yeah.
So he only has to play one round with Tom. Yeah. Round one, Showdown, no Foxy.
No Foxy. The Fox is going to be out of the hole there with the tortoise kind of anchoring him behind. Christopher Wrighton interests me. He was flirting with contention. I had him 90 to 1 last week, but we're off of the bent surfaces now, which is his best surface. I might just sprinkle him in as a cheap own guy in 1 or 2 of a 20-man, 20 entry lineup situation there. All right. No one and dones for me. No one and done's for anyone really, apart from the Slider Cups and certain.
I have Slider Cup. I have Cam Young and Fleetwood left. I decided to play because I figured everyone's saving Scheffler for the Tour Championship because it's 12 times. You multiply your score by 12 in the Slider Cup. So I tried to be different and played Scheffler this past week, which was a fucking mistake. So I have Cam Young and Fleetwood left. I saved them, and that's how I'm playing.
Okay. Good luck to you all out there in your one and done streets if you have those still going. I'll be doing a 3 and done in the Model Maniac Discord, by the way, for the fall swing for a free crack at a year's annual subscription as well. So if you're in the mood to do that, use code BETS26, jump in there, get yourself 50% off over there. Big things to come, Kenny. I've been grinding my ass off on some coding and things like that for a Model ModelManiacTools.com. coming to you in 2027. I'll be having beta testers in the Discord, making sure that we can break it and make sure that it's good to go for you guys for next year. Maybe I launch it a bit sooner. We'll see how much I can go before the baby gets here, because that's ultimately the thing I'm trying to do. But that's neither here nor there. It's a little further down the road. But as always, jump in the Patreon, all of that stuff. Check me out at the Model Maniac on X. I'll be having Keith Fleming on, who lives in Atlanta. He'll be going to the tournament. Have him on for Back 9 Bets tomorrow. I'm introducing back Hacking It in Hollywood. So we'll be doing Sopranos, comping golfers to Soprano characters. It will be a lot of fun at the end of the show over there, 3 Eastern on Mayo Media. I'll have a couple placement bets potentially for you guys.
So funny enough, Byron, the one solo show I ever did, it might have been 2017 or something like that. I did a solo show. The topic that I brought up on the show was comparing golfers to Sopranos characters. I don't think you can get that episode. I think it was on SoundCloud back then is where we posted all of our shit. This was like before Apple Pods and shit like that, right? So all of our shit was on SoundCloud. And I do not have access to any of those files. Those are just in the ether somewhere. Incredible. I have like the first 100 episodes of our show are like somewhere in the ether. I have no idea where they are, but that was actually, you know what? If you go to Apple it might be the first show on there. It might be where I compare. I don't know. You'd have to go and look and try and find it. But funny enough, I've done that.
Let's go, man.
A decade ago.
Take us away, my brother.
You can find me on X at Kendo VT. Any live ads there will be on there. Any, pertinent golf information, and sometimes some really just dumb shit. Should be a fun week. The end of the regular season. Big money on the line. We'll be back in the fall, so don't even think that this is over. It's just a 2-week break, and you'll see us again. So let's win some motherfucking money, DGen Nation.
Shout out Dave Litz in the comments last week. 24 hats you put on. 24 hats.
Okay, Dave Litz. Congratulations.
I got to shout that out.
I totally forgot about that. I had to put them all away. That got out of control, that show. So
it was crazy.
Congrats, Dave. Dave Lids, guy's got his stuff dialed in there. So reach out to me on X. I'll figure out a way to get you in the Discord there, my brother. Appreciate you guys. Catch you guys next time.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words. I done popped the